Australia's border with Papua New Guinea should be simple. Countries often just draw a line through the middle of a body of water and call it a day. So why do Australia and Papua New Guinea share one of the strangest maritime borders in the world? This is the PNG mainland, and yet for some reason these islands, just a few kilometres away, are Australian. What's the story here? The answer lies in a little known tussle over New Guinea, one which played a crucial role in the formation of Australia itself. This is where centuries-old geopolitics enters the room. Like many border oddities around the world, global empires left their footprint, but this story is also about Queensland asserting itself. In the 1870s, Australia was a collection of separate British colonies. Queensland had recently broken off from New South Wales and was now looking out for itself. Its economy depended on the free movement of ships through the Torres Strait, one of the most treacherous waterways in the world, loaded with deadly reefs. Taking the islands meant Queensland had strategic control of vital shipping lanes and leverage over Dutch and German rivals. But the Torres Strait Islands were also a pearling hub. Britain gave Queensland the green light to take these islands in 1879, hoping that would be enough, but it wasn't. By the early 1880s, Queensland politicians urged Britain to annex eastern New Guinea, with Queensland offering to fund and govern it themselves. The reason was simple. Brisbane had heard Germany was planning on taking the territory, and Queensland wanted to act first. Queensland Premier Thomas Mcilwaith ordered the Union flag to be raised at Port Moresby in April 1883. But Britain wasn't impressed. The last thing it needed was a maverick colony, leading to trouble in Europe. Although rarely one to turn down extra territory, Britain wanted to avoid tension with Germany. And Britain was already trying to juggle a number of geopolitical cricket balls, including a rising US, the scramble for Africa, and the Great Game rivalry with Russia. But that wasn't the only reason Westminster was annoyed with Queensland. They saw this as imperial overreach by a government with a poor humanitarian record. Blackbirding, the coercive recruitment of Pacific Islanders to work on sugar plantations, had irritated Britain for decades, when it was trying to portray itself as the global abolitionist leader, despite its own questionable humanitarian efforts around the world. Britain didn't trust Queensland when it said it wanted New Guinea for defence and not for plantation labour. Westminster refused Mcilwaith's demand, but as a compromise, established a British protectorate in southeast New Guinea in late 1884. Weirdly, and proving Queensland wasn't being paranoid, this was around the same time Germany moved into the island's northern regions to establish Kaiser Wilhelm's land. They held this until World War I. But the whole episode angered Queensland, and especially Thomas Mcilwaith, who thought Britain prioritised relations with European powers and didn't have their back. The colonies also saw they were relatively powerless and vulnerable individually. This helped propel the Federation movement, and the belief they would be stronger together politically and defensively. It would also be good for a solid batting lineup too. New South Wales and Victoria were opposed to blackbirding, and it was outlawed upon Federation in 1901. Not long after, Britain handed authority of the protectorate over to Australia, and it became the territory of Papua. This would be merged with the former German territory after the war to form the territory of Papua New Guinea, and it eventually got its independence in 1975. The Torres Strait Islands had been under Queensland and Australian jurisdiction way before there was any concept of Papua New Guinea statehood, and they stayed with Australia, with new lines for fisheries and jurisdiction drawn accordingly. The Torres Strait Treaty means Australia retains significant administrative and security responsibilities in the Strait, while recognising Papua New Guinea's sovereignty and protecting the traditional movement of island communities. And the good relations between the countries mean these islands will stay some of the strangest geopolitical oddities in the world for the foreseeable future. Another lasting example of 19th century rivalry, shaping the borders of today. Thanks very much for watching.